And so tell me about the role of mental toughness and what that plays in training, in fighting, and how can people, what advice would you give to people to help develop that?
Well, I think it really comes down to, again, just the deeper your understanding is of what you're doing, then the more you can kind of separate your emotions from your brain. So, for example, um, if somebody is gonna, I don't know, if they're gonna twist my finger and they're gonna break my finger, it hurts pretty bad. But I need to be, that's illegal in that. You're not allowed to do that kind of thing. But just as an example, I could step back from that and go, okay, you're going to break my finger and that's going to hurt really bad. But how much is it really going to affect my ability to fight? Breaking my finger off is not that big a deal. It's going to hurt real bad. So I have to just be able to endure that pain so that I can continue to do whatever it is I need to do. It's like, I'm sure you've heard stories of people in the military and law enforcement getting shot, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes people get shot in the hand and it's game over for them because they give up and quit. Mm-hmm. Other people get shot really, really badly and they just refuse to quit. Mm-hmm. And they just mentally fight through that and just do what needs to be done, and as we all know, your body is way more resilient than you think it is. So mm-hmm. if your brain doesn't give up, if your mind doesn't quit, your body will follow along much easier. And that's really all it is. I look at every position, I look at every fight. There was an old movie I can't remember the name of it, but it had a perfect quote. It said, are you hurt or are you injured? That hurts. Does it stop the functioning of my body? No. Well, then ignore it. It doesn't matter, and there's some stuff that doesn't really hurt, but is going to affect the functioning of your body. If you're going to break my elbow, I can't fight anymore, even if it may not hurt that bad. It mm-hmm. does. But, theoretically,
I bet it does.
But yeah, if theoretically, if it doesn't hurt, you could ignore it, but that doesn't do me any good because I still can't fight if my arm is broken.
Right. So. Well, then the other thing I wanted to ask you too is I was watching another fight of yours and I didn't watch it all the way through, but it seemed as though you were maybe not winning.
I've had a few of those, yeah.
Yeah, it seemed as though you were in survival mode. And so my question to you is, when you're in survival mode and your back's against the wall and things aren't going good, how do you get through that mentally, not just to endure that, but to think your way through that, to stay calm and try to stay strategic and not panic? And then not only that, but then to get back up on top again, so to speak. Does that make sense?
Absolutely it does.
What does that process look like?
The biggest thing for me is trying to stay focused on the right things to do and trying not to focus on the part of it where I'm getting beat up and it hurts and I'd rather be somewhere else right now. But that's really what it boils down to is like in any given scenario, I have a handful of options and it's up to me to choose the best option, the most beneficial option that's going to, tip the fight in my favor as much as I can. And if I can't access that option because my opponent is stopping me, then I'm just going to pick the best option I have, and just keep working through there. One of the best analogies for MMA or jiu-jitsu is they call it human chess. Are you familiar with chess? Do you play it all?
No, but I'm familiar with it.
Well, so basically what it boils down to is there are specific rules that the pieces have to move in. And so with that understanding, there's a finite number of moves from any given position on the board.
Yeah.
And the grandmasters at chess, they know all of the moves. My first move is this. I know all of your responses as well because I know the game. Right. So I move here and these are your 10 options. Of those 10 options, 3 of them lead to certain defeat. 4 of them are kind of neutral and 3 of them are pretty good. So you're going to pick the best one you can. And now this position, my next move is this. And these are, so it really, it's more about understanding the game.
That when you're in survival mode though, Jeremy.
Right. But I'm still looking at the board and I'm still trying to make the best moves I can given what's available to me. And that's what I'm saying. You got to be able to step back and remove your emotions from it to a certain degree.
That's what I was just getting ready to say.
Your emotions are not affecting the choices you make. because your emotions are always like, I want to go run and hide in the corner where he's not hitting me anymore. But that's not the best choice. That doesn't lead me to a win. I've got to.
Or some people just get really angry. They just get so mad, and then that leads to you not being able to think through it either, right?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. Generally, getting angry, getting emotional in general is pretty bad. But getting angry is pretty bad. Some people, it fuels them well, but that's rare. Most people fight very poorly when they're angry.
This is really interesting stuff. I like it.